These crowds seem to get bigger and bigger. Welcome to the Mayor's Weekly News Conference. We have 5 topics today on the agenda. Are an overview of a recent trip by a local delegation to Dungarvan, our sister city in Ireland, an update on the Erie Refocused Summer of Hope door-to-door canvassing initiative, an introduction of the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership, an explanation of quality of life ticketing, and an announcement regarding an Opportunity Zones collaboration. Now I'll turn it over to the Mayor.
Thank you, Renee, and thanks everyone for being here. And at the risk of not pointing out all the right people, I do want to welcome Senator Dan Laughlin for being here with us today. I think it's the first time a state senator's attended one of our news conferences, and I really appreciate it, Dan. Thanks very much. Thank you. So as they say in Ireland, top of the morning to you. We're going to begin this morning with something fun. Mike Malthaner and a group recently went to our sister city in Ireland, Dungarvan, and they've returned bearing gifts as well as insight, and they, of course, performed a lot of music over there. So I'd like to ask Mike and his group to please come on up, and they're going to perform a song that they did over there first, and then Mike will have a few words to say as well. Thanks, Mr. Welcome. Thank you.
No, we need you. We need you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Schember. We're just going to do a snippet of the opening number. The show is about an hour long, and that would probably be a little too long for today. So we'll just do a little snippet of the opening number and then make a presentation to the mayor.
Dear Signore, to our story we'll be playing all the parts.
I'm Flaminio Scala, founder and leading actor.
Slapstick and disaster from the master of the comic arts.
In honor of all actors on earth and in heaven.
Ciao! And their daughters and sons. Raucous comedy.
Grand vulgarity.
Tears and tragedy.
All to do with me.
And the glorious ones.
I saw misers and pretenders, vendors and buffoons, ragged street performers dancing, kids with eyes round as moons, musicians and their tunes, overwhelming throngs of glorious humanity, characters of every hue. And I knew at that early age I would make my mark upon the world. Improvise this comic world. I would put the world upon the stage. Oratory.
Unrequited love.
Oddity. Drama.
In short, Signor, the pride and glory of my life.
In a glorious tale of ambition and art.
Before word you may hear the occasional part.
To the zeros and yes, the occasional tart.
With one hand on the head and one hand on the heart.
Body banter.
And pantomimes, flights and passions and puns.
Welcome, intro. Ciao. Come with me, see our show.
Flaminio Scala presents
The glorious ones.
Thank you, Mayor Schember. 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to kiss the Blarney Stone, so my remarks could go on for hours. But as the Irish say, there's no greater sedative than a long-winded man. So therefore, we will be brief. Sean Clerk and Elmy Clerk and Kate Thiem, Bob Martin, Gene Malthaner, Pat Thiem, who is not able to be here because of work conflict, and along with Senator Dan Laughlin's wife, Peggy, and her son Spencer, as well as Seamus Clerkin and Judy Amatuzo, had the privilege of visiting our sister city, Dungarvan, Ireland, from June 29th through July 7th. And Dungarvan, like Erie, is a coastal town and it has a beautiful harbor. On July 4th, we were welcomed at a special ceremony in the Dungarvan Municipal Building. At that time, they presented us with a plaque and asked that we deliver it to you as the mayor of the citizens of Erie. It was read by the Waterford County Council Chairman, Mr. John Pratt, and presented by their mayor, Declan Ducey. It was also at this time that I read and presented to them the proclamation from your mayor's office that you gave to me prior to our departure. Following the ceremony, they escorted us outside and had a raising of the American flag in honor of our Independence Day. And it was a very touching moment and a dignified gesture on their part. And as the flag was being raised, we did have the opportunity to sing the national anthem. We were impressed by the kindness and hospitality given to us by the people of Dungarvan, and they are truly interested in Erie and our sister city partnership. We had meaningful discussions regarding their coastal development and the economic growth that followed this work. And we left feeling very excited about the work being done here in Erie as we too develop our bayfront and witness the ongoing energy and increasing pride of living in Erie. Mayor Schember, our group of performers represent more than the arts, as we are also educators and people active in the community. And we wish you and your staff, our city and county governments, our school systems, and all those working tirelessly the very best in the ongoing efforts in making Erie the most energized and welcoming place to live. On behalf of all of us, thank you. Really appreciate it. That's great. Thank you.
Pretty nice. Mike and the whole group, really thank you for what you're doing to build a better relationship with our sister cities. I really look forward to having a strong, mutually beneficial relationship with all three of our sister cities, and you're certainly helping us along the way. It's a great opportunity. I'll move to our second topic now. I don't think we'll ever have a better first topic than that one. But as I've been saying, I've really been enjoying our Summer of Hope door-to-door here in Erie's East Bayfront neighborhood. This week, we had help from the Jefferson Education Society's Civic Leadership Academy alumni group, and tonight, city employees will actually be volunteering their time and heading out of City Hall about 4 o'clock to do door-to-door there. To date, we've covered a majority of the East Bayfront neighborhood. We've been to over 1,500 homes and received over 370 survey responses. And last weekend, Nikan Astari Carpenter, who's right in the back over there, Nikan, she's our liaison to the New American Community. She took a team of translators out to homes where there were Arabic and Spanish-speaking residents so that we could get their input as well. Special thanks to Marwa Basil from Gannon University, Saina Rahimi from Penn State University, and Jada Leslie Rossman from the University of Pittsburgh, who served as our translators and helped Nikan in that effort. This Saturday, Nikan will be out again, taking another team to translate for the Nepalese in Erie. If you happen to speak Russian, Somali, or Vietnamese, we could use help with there, and I'd ask you to give a call to Nikan at 870-1200. Again, anyone that's able to speak Russian, Somali, or Vietnamese. This segment of the door-to-door concludes this week. If you want to help out, again, please give Nikan a call, 870-1200. We'll be out tonight from 4 to 5:30, and Saturday from 11 to 1. Many thanks to the 30 volunteers who have helped us during the 40-plus hours of canvassing we've done so far. We will have people also available on National Night Out, that's August 7th, to collect additional feedback. We'll be doing surveys during National Night Out as well. The surveys will be open online throughout the month of August. So if you live particularly in the East Bayfront neighborhood right now, that's where we're trying to collect data. That's the area from State Street to the west, the Bayfront connector to the east, and the Bayfront connector to the north to East 15th Street. If you live in that area, or if we've left you a door hanger asking you to do this, please go online and complete the survey. It's available at surveymonkey.org. /r/Summer of Hope. So that's SurveyMonkey, all one word, / the letter R, / Summer of Hope, all one word also, and you can share your priorities. It takes less than 5 minutes to do the survey. Now for our third item, I'd like to introduce the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership. This is a nonprofit that exists as part of Erie's Redevelopment Authority. It had been kind of inactive, but we recently reactivated the group. I'm going to ask Scott Henry to please come up and tell us more about the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership. Scott?
Thanks, Mayor.
Get this out of your way.
Good morning, everyone. My pianist couldn't make it today, so I'm going to skip the song and dance routine. But, just to give you a little bit of history, the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership was formed by the Redevelopment Authority back in 2004 and was granted 501c3 status that year. This was at a time when there weren't many formally organized neighborhood groups operating within the city, so we kind of brought this group together of people who were working in the neighborhood, some social service agency, and some developers to sort of provide a mechanism to attract some funding to help some neighborhood initiatives. So thanks to the United Way and Erie Insurance Group, we got some early funding back in those days, and we were able to use that to provide funding to some neighborhood groups to do some neighborhood cleanups, get some signage, those types of, they were smaller but important neighborhood projects. The group has largely been inactive since 2010, although I would note that it was a big part of the study and planning that led to the creation of the Erie Land Bank. So they did play a large role in that. But we're excited now to resurrect the organization. We've pulled together representatives from all of the city's formal neighborhood groups and looking to provide a forum for them to collaborate with each other and also to provide a unified voice and advisory voice to the city and to the Redevelopment Authority as we move forward with implementation of Erie Refocused and general blight mitigation issues. We've established some initial goals. Those include establishing a geographic information system that will help us catalog and analyze problem properties throughout the city so we can develop appropriate mitigation plans. We're looking to bring in some training and technical assistance to help many of the neighborhood leaders learn about some different financing options, such as tax increment financing, new market tax credits, some things that really haven't been utilized yet in Erie. We need to take a look at those, learn about them, see if they can work for us. We're also hoping to work closely with the city to establish and roll out an Erie Refocused website to try to provide a forum to promote the city's neighborhoods all in one place, provide a catalog of resources for residents, an easy way to solicit input and feedback, and also help the public monitor implementation of Erie Refocused. We think this is an important communication tool. We'll be excited. In a couple of weeks, we're going to welcome an AmeriCorps Vista volunteer who's going to be coming and staying for about a year, who's going to really dig into these goals and set a platform to help us pull all these things together. And on behalf of the partnership, we certainly look forward to collaboration with the new administration and seeing improvements throughout all the city's neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. This is an important group. We appreciate the work you're doing, and Kathy, thanks for your contributions as well. It is a really important group. There's a lot of potential here. We can accomplish much more, as we all know, when we work together and when we share best practices. And speaking of best practices, we'll move to our fourth item, which is that we're currently working, the administration is working with City Council to establish a quality of life ticketing ordinance. Everyone knows that there are pockets of blight within the city. Many of the calls to our Citizens Response Center are about things like litter, trash, overgrown grass, weeds. So the lack of property maintenance, littering, improper storage of trash and rubbish, storage of inoperable or unregistered vehicles, vendor operations without permits, high grass and weeds, graffiti, accumulation of snow and ice are costly problems that contribute to the deterioration of property values and a general disorder in our community. These problems degrade the physical appearance of the city, which makes our neighborhoods less attractive, and that inhibits economic development. That and the quality of life and community pride of the citizens can be negatively impacted by this. So as part of our vision for Erie, which is that all residents will live in welcoming, vibrant neighborhoods. We looked at what other communities are successfully doing to deal with blight, and we found the quality of life ticketing. The purpose of this ordinance is to promote health, safety, and general welfare in the city by helping to create and sustain a clean, healthy living environment for all of our residents. We believe that quality of life ticketing will provide us with an important tool to be able to do this. Next, I'd like to bring up Jake Welsh to explain a little bit more detail what's going on there. Jake?
Good morning. So the mayor asked me to give a brief explanation of really how the current process works with regards to code enforcement and property maintenance. Currently, when we're made aware of a violation, either through a complaint or during sweeps of areas or patrols of neighborhoods, the inspector contacts the property owner, and we are really looking for voluntary compliance right out of the gate. So we want to try and make personal contact with the owner, as personal as possible, whether that's face-to-face, phone call, prior to just sending out a letter informing the owner of what the nature of the violation is. So that process of notifying the owner and giving the owner some initial time to respond to that education of what the violations are is the first step in the process. Many times the owner is either unable or unwilling to comply with many of the violations that we find. In that case, we move on to the next step, which would be issuing a notice of violation, which is essentially an order to correct the violations. It's not a citation that actually goes to the district magistrate. That's actually the final step in the process if we're not able to obtain that compliance. That process of going through the multiple notices, multiple violation notices, and ultimately to that citation can take quite some time, as many are aware. Once that citation's issued, then essentially the resolution of that case is out of our control as far as city proper and the code enforcement office. It's now in the hands of the district magistrate. And that again can cause significant delays in the resolution of these cases. Scheduling the hearing, adjudicating the hearing. Many times the district magistrate gives the owner additional time to correct the violations. And sometimes the process can actually have to start completely over again. So we understand the current process is very frustrating, particularly to the neighbors who are looking at these properties that have not been maintained properly. We really believe the quality of life ticketing process and program is going to be extremely beneficial. What it allows us to do is essentially, once the courtesy notice has been made, that initial contact has been made, we find that voluntary compliance is not going to be the initial resolution. We're going to be able to issue a ticket, similar to a parking ticket. Hopefully, that will encourage compliance much more speedily than the current process allows. That's what we're hoping for. We're extremely hopeful that this ordinance will go through and pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. It sounds like it can literally take years sometimes to get something corrected. Is that a fair statement? So hopefully quality of life ticketing will speed it up quite a bit. Next, I'd like to bring up somebody who, nobody works more in our neighborhoods than John Villa. I'd like to bring up John from the Snoops Neighborhood Watch to explain this all from his perspective in terms of what quality of life ticketing means for the city of Erie. John?
Morning, everybody. The quality of life ticketing has been a long-awaited event. The current process is it's horrible. It takes way too long to get anything processed. This is going to clean up the neighborhoods a lot quicker. It's just going to get things done. As they explained, it takes months. I've looked at a couple of sofas across the street from my house for about 2 weeks now, and that shouldn't happen to happen. Nobody should have to look at that. Nobody should have to live like that. And I know the process is being done, but it just takes so long. I mean, it could take anywhere up to 6 to 8 weeks to get somebody's grass cut that doesn't want to cut it. Now it's going to be done within 2 or 3 days. So it's a great process. I'm just really happy that the city's setting this high standard to keep our neighborhoods nice and clean. Thank you.
Thanks, John, and thanks for all your work with the Stoops Neighborhood Watch that you do as well. The draft of this ordinance is a work in process right now. We have a study session scheduled with City Council at 5:30 on August 9th, and we'll be presenting it to the Erie Neighborhood Growth Partnership the same day to get their feedback as well. Once we have a final version, we'll get it on City Council's agenda, and we'll also provide additional details to our residents. Finally, our last topic for the day today is next steps on opportunity zones. On Thursday, July 19th, my team, including Chris Groner, Kathy Rosdick, Brett Weiler, and Renee Lamus, and I, met with the EDDC team. John Persinger, Mark Nabrowski, and Matt Wachter were at that meeting. John, Mark, and I shared our highlights from the Accelerator for America conferences that we attended, and these conferences focused on opportunity zones. Then we reviewed a prospectus that we had received at the conference that cities of Louisville, South Bend, Indiana, and Oklahoma City had in draft form to market opportunity zones to the general public. And we agreed on next steps, and the marketing would especially be towards potential investors. You'll recall that the City of Erie was approved by the state and federal government for 8 opportunity zone tracts. These are census tracts that have been identified now as qualified opportunity zones. 6 tracts are located in the downtown core of the city and on the bayfront and encompass the property areas that Erie Refocused, the city's comprehensive plan, directed us to focus on. 2 of these 6 areas are positioned along West 12th Street. This corridor, as you all know, has a significant number of underutilized industrial sites and was the focus of the CBS News story, Redefining Hope. 2 additional tracts are located east of the downtown core, but include some of our hardest hit industries. Those 2 tracts are, the first one is the former International Paper site, now the SB3 site, and the second includes Savacchio Park and the area in East Erie, which is adjacent to the GE Lawrence Township facility. The city is working with the EDDC and the County Data Center. Working with those 2 groups, we're going to take the lead on the 8 opportunity zones development for local and national investors. We will be collaborating with at least 30 partner organizations to create this document, and we welcome input from everyone. In addition to the city and the EDC, I'm going to read a few names here, a little over 30, and I'd ask if there are representatives from this group, if you would come up and stand behind me as I go through the list. This is the group, and it'll probably expand, to be honest, but this is a group we've identified so far to have input into the opportunity zones. Ben Franklin Technology Partners, the Bostwick Design Partnership, Civic Pulse, the Erie Community Foundation, the Erie County Convention Center Authority, the Erie County Data Center, the Erie County Executive, the Erie County Redevelopment Authority, the Erie County Gaming and Revenue Authority, the Erie Downtown Partnership, the Erie Economic Development Ecosystem, the Erie Housing Authority, the Erie Innovation District, Erie Insurance Exchange, the Erie Management Group, the Erie Metropolitan Transit Authority, the Erie Parking Authority, the Erie Redevelopment Authority, the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership, the Erie Technology Incubator, the Erie Western PA Port Authority, Gannon University, the Innovation Collaborative, Jefferson Educational Society, Kidder Wachter Architects, the Knox Law Firm, the Mayor's Business Council, the PA Department of Community and Economic Development, Radius Cowork, the Small Business Development Center, the St. Vincent's and Highmark, UPMC Hammett, the Urban Erie Community Development Corporation, and Velocity Network. This is a pretty impressive group, isn't it? Can we give them a round of applause? Our goal is to get our prospectus drafted by early September and complete the document by October 31st. And then that will be used by all of us to promote development in our 8 opportunity zones moving forward. Bruce Katz and Jeremy Nowak emphasized when they were here that they see opportunity zones as a kickstarter for communities, and they believe that we can attract both local and national capital to help us transform Erie. They indicated that communities are going to be successful are the ones that work together and make it happen. And they told us they feel like we're right at the lead of that pack in terms of being able to capitalize on opportunity zones. We believe that given the work we've already done here and the way we're collaborating, we're prepared to compete. Now I'd like to invite John Persinger up to say a few words about this collaboration from the EDDC's perspective. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 takeaways from our visit out to Los Angeles. First, what a unique opportunity for Erie and a real testament to all the hard work that's going on in the community right now to be involved in this group. Thanks to the Jefferson Society for bringing Bruce Katz and Jeremy Nowak to Erie. Those guys have been all over the world. They work with cities all over the world. And what they identified going on here is something unique. There's a true collaborative spirit and action going on between the public sector and the private sector. And that's a testament to the mayor's vision and the work of his administration. That's a testament of the EDDC board. We've got Mike Batchelor here who's representing the EDDC board. And it's a testament to all the work of everyone who's here and everyone who's up on stage. So it's really exciting to be included in that group, and it's a great honor. The second takeaway is that being a part of that group, that affiliation, is really going to help us set ourselves apart from every other city. Just about every other city is going to have opportunity zones. And so we are competing against every other city for investment. At our conference in Los Angeles, there were representatives from large philanthropic and corporate investors. A representative from the Walton Family Foundation, which is the Walmart heirs. There was the woman who runs Goldman Sachs' billion-dollar urban investment program. Those corporate and philanthropic investors are trying to figure out which cities have investable projects and the capacity to handle these investments. What they're looking at is there collaboration between the public sector and the private sector? And through the work with Jeremy Nowak and Bruce Katz, we've gotten almost a good housekeeping seal of approval that we are a place where we can accept investment. So we're excited to be working with the mayor and his administration. We're excited to be working with all of our partners here to really set ourselves apart and begin to capitalize on those opportunity zones. So thank you very much for having us, and we're excited about the next few years.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really excited about working with John and everyone here on stage to really transform our region. Next, I'd like to bring up Chris Groner, the Director of the city's Department of Economic and Community Development. He'll come up and provide us some additional information on the process here. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. What an exciting time and what an opportunity for Erie. This truly does feel like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to add to the momentum and to harness the energy and the excitement that's taking hold in our city. When we were notified that our submitted plan was approved, I was asked to comment on this accomplishment. And my response was, and still is the same, that this is only the start. We have been given an opening, we have been given a window of opportunity, and now the real work does begin. As great as this new tool may be, we were not the only ones given it. And for that, the competition has begun. We must market ourselves, and we must compete beyond our local investors and our local entrepreneurs. This is now a national and a global competition. We must showcase our unique benefits and opportunities that this city has to offer. The work now begins, and we must get this right. I'm really looking forward to rolling up our sleeves and getting started. What makes this even more exciting is the opportunity to work with the Erie Downtown Development Corporation, the County Data Center, on taking the lead role in the development of this prospectus, and with the combined resources and capabilities of the city's Department of Economic and Community Development, EDDC, the city and county planning, and the over 24 partner organizations you see with us today. I really do believe that we will be able to produce a very thorough and compelling case as to why Erie is a great place to invest. So let's get started and let's go. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I just have to say, by my count, it's 3 dozen, not 24 partner organizations right now. So that's really exciting. The potential of all of us working together is incredible. And I want to thank everybody for being here today. We look forward to working. I mean, we're starting our work now. There's a lot to do. We're going to work, collaborate, and we're going to produce some incredible results, which are going to include creating opportunity, restoring hope, and transforming this city of Erie. Thanks very much for being here today.
Nice.